It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and welcome to this very, very special, I call it episode, because the Happy Entrepreneur Show is on a mission, and that is to empower, that is to inspire, and that's to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And I'm really excited about
It's
today.
a great day.
My name is Shay Brown, and welcome. Is on a mission, and that is to empower, that is to inspire, and that's to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources necessary to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. That would be interesting hearing myself. Really excited about it.
It's a great
So now
day.
what I'm going to do is let me make sure I can do a mic check, and I can be heard. So let me do a mic check, Let me make sure I can be heard. If you hear me, just look right below. I think I just heard myself speaking, which is interesting, by the way. I know there's always a slight delay.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and welcome.
It's a great day. Let me make sure. Okay, there we go. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. I had a slight tafu, but we are back. And this will be the most profitable conversation that you're in. I believe, in all honesty, the most profitable conversation you'll be in all year. So if you're ready out there, you're like, okay, Shay, it's time for me to pick my sales up. It's time for me to grow my revenue. But I need the most effective, I need the secret weapon, and I need the tool that I can use. Then I promise you, then this episode is going to be a good use of your time. So let me just make sure I've done two things. Hold up here. They're asking me to say they can't see it. And the reason they can't see it is because I have not shared it yet. Just 1 second. Let me make sure that we can get our broadcast partners on here. And you'll be on here in just a second. Okay. Now, this episode is all about.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown,
and welcome and taking your business to an entirely different level. And once again, I'm super excited. I'm just doing a few things on here to make sure that I can be seen, which it looks like I can be. So that's good over there. So it looks like I can be seen. That's good. Now let me just make sure that they can get on. Give me 10 seconds, everyone. More. Okay. There we go.
Just
doing a few things on here. Make sure that I can be seen. Which there we go. All right. Now we're ready to get going. For those folks that are having your notes out, I want to know, what in the LL Cool J is Shay doing? Well, I was checking the sound just to make sure I could be heard. So here's what we're going to focus on this evening. We're going to focus on Lavonda, growing your business. We're going to focus. Amber Smith, good to see you, by the way. Donnie, thanks for joining, by the way. Thanks for being here. Certainly, I appreciate that. Let me share this over here. Make sure, give me 10 seconds, everybody. And we're going to go live. Here we go. Just want to make sure I got it there. There we go. Okay. We are now easy peasy, easy to go. They give me the signal saying that they can hear me, which is good. Which is good. This is always good when you can be heard, by the way. Okay. There we go. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for getting started. It's showtime, everyone. All right, now you can hear me. If you can hear me, just look right below the video. Just look right below the video and put Shay, we hear you. Look right below the video and put Shay, we hear you. If you're listening on the podcast, don't worry about it. I know that you are listening, and they're going to let me know that you can hear me. So Sherry Johnson, let me know you can hear me. Danny, let me know you can hear me. Devonta Goings, thanks for joining. Let me know you can hear me so I can start this very, very important conversation, which is a conversation around using story selling to really grow your business. And I'm really excited because not only am I going to show you, can we show them that? I'm going to walk you through the secret formula. That's right. We're going to get to the secret formulas even on how you can craft your own story. Yeah. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And more importantly, my promise of this episode is that 1, you're going to write your most profitable story. And 2, you're going to identify, can we show it to them? You're going to identify at least 25 different stories that you need as part of your presentation to grow your business. Now, this is going to be really, really important. Now, if you're out there listening saying, Shay, I needed to get going. And you were having a conversation with me and you said, Shay, what's the secret weapon? I will share with you this. Everyone, jot this down in your notes. I don't want you to miss this. Put this in your notes right now. The secret weapon that will transform your sales. And for those folks that are taking notes out there, what's up, Tara? What's happening out there? Thanks a lot. I love you. Thank you so much for letting me know you can hear me. Look, write this note down. The secret weapon that will transform your sales is story selling. Everyone jot that down. You know, the secret weapon that will transform your sales is story selling. And I like to mention that. I want that to be top of mind to you because storytelling will help you do a number of things. Now, I want you to jot this in your notes. This is one of those sessions where we're teaching, but I believe it's going to be the most profitable conversation that you're in. So jot this down in your notes right now. Make sure you put this in your notes. This is so important. Put this in your notes. Why use storytelling in your presentation? And that's a great question that comes up. I was having a conversation with some about several months ago, and we were talking about, Charles, ways they can grow their business. And Karen, I was talking to them, and I said, let's talk about how you can use stories in your business to actually capture the client's attention, to actually build trust, and at the end of the day, lead to the sale. And I shared these 4 reasons. Now, one of them created a breakthrough for her mindset. And I'm going to tell you about that because this was someone who had already been in business for several years. This is someone who had been to seminars, been to conference calls, watched YouTube videos, and was just like many of you out there. They were ready for a breakthrough. And some of you listening right now, you're ready for a breakthrough. And then I was able to come along and provide the guidance that she needed to get from where she was to actually closing one of the largest sales as a result of her not improving her words, but improving her storytelling. Then we worked on a script. So jot this down. There are 4 reasons why you need to use stories in your presentation. Jot these 4 things down in your notes, just so you know. And this might be something that you add, Dorsey, to your plan. It might be something that you add to one of the skill sets you're going to learn over the next 90 days. One of the things I've been sharing with folks wherever I go is that, look, if you are ready to really explode the next 90 days, what's the one skill set that you're going to learn? And I'm going to tell you, my focus over the next 90 days is going to be on storytelling. Here's why. Jot these 4 reasons down in your notes. I got it as part of my 12-week plan. It's my 90-day plan. Here you go. Jot these notes. Number 1, stories move people emotionally. I'm not getting into details now. Tonight, I want to give you the 25 stories you need, but stories move people emotionally. And think about the movies that you've watched. Think about when you go to the DMV, maybe to renew your license. And when you're renewing your license, it seems like you're at the DMV forever. It's like you're in line and then you have to wait and then you're in line again and you have to wait. And it seems like it just never comes to an end. But then when you go to a movie theater and you sit there, you look up and 2 hours is gone. You're like, what happened? Wow, 2 hours is gone. And that's because you were moved emotionally. So number 1, stories move people emotionally. Number 2, and this was the breakthrough for the client that I worked with almost 9 months ago. We worked together for about 3 months. It was a 90-day challenge, and we worked together for 90 days. But here's what I told her. Jot this in your notes. Stories act as invisible selling. Let me say that again. Stories act as invisible selling. And so when you're talking to someone and when I share with you the different type of stories that you need and you start incorporating these stories into your presentation, you're going to learn. You're going to be like, you know what, Shay? I knew there were stories I needed. I just wasn't sure which ones. And it's not your fault. No one ever told you. So because no one never told you, you never knew. But that won't be you anymore because this morning, this evening, tonight, whatever time it is for wherever you are, we're going to focus on the 25 stories. And I'm going to give you some techniques that you can use. So stories act as invisible selling. So some of you who don't want to sell, some of you who hate to sell, you don't have to worry about selling anymore. You can just share stories using a format and a system. Can we show them the system? A format and a system. You can show that to them. Great. Format and a system that you can use. And I'm going to break this thing down. Some of you are going to want to know. Some of you are going to want the chart. I get it. You're going to want the guide that I'm going to be putting together. You're going to want the samples that I'm going to be going over. You're going to know how to storyboard. I get that. Don't worry. It's my gift to you. For every one of you who texts in and just say, Shay, I want the notes. I want to make sure you send them to me. I'm going to send them to you. Okay. And if you're already tuned in like, Shay, I know I want it. Let me give you what to do right now. I should have put it up there, but I didn't. But you can text this number right now. When you're watching right now, you're like, Shay, I'm gonna need the notes. They should have put that on here, but I guess we didn't put it on there. I should have put it on there. But you can text the number 202-270-1662. I'm gonna write that down and make this life easy for you. You can text 202. Let me write that down so I can remember this. That's my number, by the way. Write this down right now. Some of you just going to want the notes when I'm going through it. Because I already start off that stories move people emotionally and stories act as invisible selling. But I'm going to get into some real technical teaching. But some of you already text me saying, Shay, where are the notes? So you're going to text this number, 202-270-1662. You're going to text the word makeover to 202-270-1662. And you're going to include first name, last name, best contact number, and best email. Okay. I'm putting this on here now, so later on when you won't ask me if you want the notes and the replay. Want your story reviewed and the notes. So I'm going to review your story. I'm going to review your story script and the notes. Here's what you need to do. Oh, this is cool. Okay. Oh, this is great. I love it when the plan comes together. Ladies and gentlemen, give me one moment. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm putting this down so you can have it, and I won't have to worry about this again. Now, let's just see if y'all can see that. Let's just see. Can they see it? All right. There you go. There you go. Want your story reviewed and the notes from tonight. Text the word makeover right now to this number. Don't email me personally. Some of you email me personally. What's up? Eric, what you doing up, my man? Good to see you. Hey, what's happening? Sakisha's up. Hey, Sakisha's always up. Sakisha's cool. She's rocking and rolling. Oh, they can't see me. I got the banner in front of me. Okay, well, no one told me I had the banner up. Okay, let's move that out the way. There we go. There you go. Text the word makeover right now. And why would you do that? Because you're someone that's time to make over your revenue. It's time to make over your clients. It's time to make over your business. And it's really time for you just to get going. And you understand one thing. This is why you're going to text. And I got to get going. We got a big session tonight. But this is so some of you won't text me individually again. Here's why you want it. Because systems beat. This is my core philosophy. Systems beat goals every time. And you understand that systems. I'm going to see my note on systems. Systems plus strategy plus. This is so funny. Plus sales equals. Where's the equal sign? Oh, I'm doing this real time. Equals. Okay. This is one of my core beliefs. We call it the 4S formula. I can't type. This is embarrassing. I got to get going. Hold on. God darn it. Okay, this is S. I should have did this early. S plus S equals S. All right, there we go. Can they even see that? It'd be embarrassing if they can't see it. This would be so embarrassing. All right. So here's why you would text in, because you want to get the notes. I'm going to show you the notes. Can we show them the notes they're going to see in a minute? Okay, we can. Let's get back and show them what they're going to see. So we're going to show you. We're going to break this down, the guide. We're going to break the sample that you need. We're going to break how to storyboard down. I'm going to review your story myself. That's one of the promises. And then the other, what did I do? And then the other promise, they're watching me real time? Oh, that's cool. Well, if they're watching me real time, where's this at? Oh, there we go. And then the other promise is that I'm going to give you the 25 stories salespeople need right now. Now, I'm going to do that this morning, this evening, tonight, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to do that. Don't worry. That's my promise. But I'm also going to do something special. For those folks that take action now, when? Now. You want your story reviewed, because I'm going to show you how to do your story, and then I'm going to help you write it. And then you want to have the notes that I have in front of me. Text the word makeover to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, include your last name, include your best contact number, and your phone number. Now, here's my personal principle. This is the philosophy that drives the Happy Entrepreneur Network, and that's this: systems beat goals every time. So if you don't have a system right now for telling your stories, if you don't have a system for losing weight, if you don't have a system for how you're going to attract your clients, if you don't have a system for how you're going to save money, then you're probably struggling, because systems are repeatable. Systems are duplicatable. Systems are something you can hand over to someone else. Systems, by the way, systems is something that goes on without your ongoing supervision. So systems plus a strategy. Now, the reason I say system beats goals, because goals are always in the future. Some of you have a goal, and I was talking to someone recently, and she's a really good friend. Probably shouldn't mention her name, but she's a really good friend. And one of the things that she was sharing with me as we were having our conversation, she said, Shay, I need to make 6+ figures this year. So she made 6 figures last year. She wants to add another 6 figures onto her business. And I only asked the question, I said, what's the system you have in place to generate 6+ figures? Now, I shared with her one of my goals as well. And one of the goals that I have. And I said, but for me to do that, storytelling is going to be one of the systems I implement in my business. I call it story selling, because you're always selling something. And she looked at me and she said, Shay, I'm not even sure what stories I would work on. I'm not even sure what my most profitable story would be. So I worked with her. We wrote her most profitable story that she needed. And I believe it's going to create a breakthrough. I got to get going because we have a training to go. But one of my core philosophies that I've got to share, and I love to share whenever I get a chance to share it, is S plus S plus S equals S. A system plus a strategy. So a system is what you're doing continuously to reach your goal. It's repeatable every single day. A strategy is how you're implementing the system. I'm going to talk about story selling. Some of you use the evergreen revenue model. And then sales gives you the resources that you need to purchase everything you need to execute the vision for yourself, the vision for your loved ones, and the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. So when you do that, then you are a successful CEO, which means you have more profit. Jot this down in your notes. I am a successful CEO. Someone write that right down before we get going. Now I got to get going. I am a successful CEO. Just put that in your notes. Look that right below the video. A successful CEO has more cash flow, has more profits, and has more freedom to do the things they want to do when they want to do it while they help other people. And so we go from being a happy entrepreneur to being a successful CEO. But you don't have to make money to be a happy entrepreneur. You don't have to, run a business to be a happy entrepreneur. But some people I work with, they want to be successful CEOs. More cash flow, more profits, more time with their loved ones, and freedom to do what they want to do. If that's you, look right below the video right now while I'm talking. Look right below the video. I'm going to get back to training. Look right below the video and write these words. I am a successful CEO. I am a successful CEO. Now, I want to know your backstory, and I'm going to learn it in just a moment. But I'm going to teach you as we go exactly what we're doing with our clients. They're creating the biggest breakthrough. And this has really created a breakthrough for her, and I know it'll create a breakthrough for every single one of you. So I was getting back to the reasons why you need to tell stories in your presentation. Then I'm going to get into the formula. But there was 4 reasons. Number 1, stories move people emotionally. Someone write that down if I didn't write that down. Number 2, stories act as invisible selling. If you don't want to sell, don't sell anymore. You just focus on telling great stories. Number 3, stories suspend time. And if you ever found yourself in a conversation with someone, and while you're talking, they're sharing what's going on in their life, they're sharing what they're going through, they're sharing their biggest challenges, and the time just goes by. One of my clients, I'm talking about clients right now, was using questions in her presentation, but she was looking for stories from the prospect. Now this is gonna be kind of new. And then let me give you number 4. I'm talking about to spend time. And she wasn't looking for stories from her prospect. So she was asking questions that were closed-in questions. So her question would be, what's your biggest challenge in achieving your goals in life? What do you need differently on your website to make a difference? And it was really challenging. And she said that she was meeting people. She felt like they were qualified. They were ready to go. But her biggest challenge was in her conversation. Now, she had no idea about story topics. Remember, I'm going to give you guys the story topics. I'm going to give you 25 of them in a minute. She had no idea of a structure and a system to use, which in just a moment, I'm going to give you a structure and a system to use. She had no idea of everything that I'm going to be teaching you and showing you this right now. She had no idea of any of this. And so as a result, she was asking the wrong questions and she wasn't looking for a question from the person. So I shared this with her. I said, look, when you're talking to someone, you want them to be thinking of an event that they had. We're talking about how stories to spend time. And if you're being rushed on your presentation, it's because you're like a doctor that's showing up and you're telling them how great you are. You're asking a few questions and then you talk about how all the degrees you have and all the clients you operated on. And the person's thinking, what about me? So when you're talking to someone, you want them to tell their story from an event. So here's what I told her to ask. I said, look, when you're talking about websites, ask the question, can you tell me about a time that someone went to your website and they couldn't find what they were looking for? Can you tell me a time you had a conversation with your web design team and it was hard for them to tell you what type of people had been to your website and why? Can you tell me about a time someone told you they were at your website and what they liked most about it? And so now we're asking questions for them to tell a story. Now, this is all part of the big ticket sales formula. I'm only going to cover story selling this evening. But what I was talking to her around permission-based sales was asking the right questions to get a story from the client, because stories to spend time. And as long as the prospect is speaking, some of you are going to get this. Some of you that are texting in earlier, you're going to get all this. When you're speaking to them, they're trying to figure it out. They're like, whoa, I had no idea. And so now when she's talking to people, they're telling them about a problem, but they're telling it to them in a story that they relate to, which means as she hears that, she can talk about how she's helped solve that same type of problem with one of her clients. So what are we talking about here is why you use stories in your presentation, why you use stories in your conversation. I know many of you know why, but I want you to write these down. Stories move people emotionally. Stories act as invisible selling. Stories to spend time. And more importantly, number 4, this is going to be a breakthrough. Stories increase rapport by 10 to 20%. And I want to draw your attention to something called baseline strategy. And this is a concept that's given to me by my mentor, and it relates to stories. Now, I see Shauna Bree said, I am a successful CEO, and I believe you. What's up, Monica? What's up, Aaron? What's up, Dr. Sabrina Watson? It's always a pleasure to have you here. And let me tell you about baseline strategy, and I'll come back and tell you the story. My mentor, when I was in Rockland, California, he shared with me something called baseline strategy. And I got this one idea from him 15 years ago that I've shared with my clients, shared with my network, and it's created a breakthrough for them because they got one idea. Now, and they could use that idea over and over and over and over again. And sometimes there's a lifetime benefit of getting one idea. So I want you to watch with new eyes for all of you who are watching right now. For everyone who's listening to the podcast, you listen in. If you're on Apple TV or you're on Amazon Fire TV or Roku, you pay attention. Your baseline, someone jot this in your notes, your baseline is everything you're doing today to produce the results you're producing a day on a monthly basis. Your baseline, put this in your notes, is everything you're doing today to produce the results you're producing a day on a monthly basis. So let's say right now you're averaging, $10,000 a month in income. Then your baseline is everything you're doing today in your business to drive $10,000 a month to you in revenue. Here's what the baseline strategy says. You add one new idea, you implement a new strategy, and thus you produce a greater result. So I'm averaging $10,000 a month. I start asking myself, what's one thing I can do to add to my baseline? I'm going to tell you that it's story selling. So if you're already right now averaging $10,000 a month, you add story selling to your baseline, it could take you up to 10. It It can take you up $10,000 more dollars, $20,000 more. It can significantly increase. That's called baseline strategy. So I'm going to ask you to add story selling and be very conscientious. I'm going to give you the 25 different stories in just a moment. I promise that. I'm going to go through that real quick, and then I'm going to tell you what we need to do. And we're going to write our first story together. But I want you to get this concept, because when I told her about baseline strategy, I asked this one question. And one of the things we know is that powerful people ask powerful questions, because questions steer focus. So we're going to steer your focus right now to story selling. And I want you to rate yourself. This is baseline advance. Rate yourself right now on a scale of 1 to 10 on how you strategically tell stories in your presentation, or as part of the selling process, or through your marketing, or through your social media, very strategically. Now, 1 meaning you do a very poor job. Like you're just not that good. It's time to step it up. 10 meaning you're the world's greatest person at doing it. In fact, you're so good, you're going to write right below the video. You're going to write your best storytelling ideas. From a sales perspective, you're going to see it through a sales lens. Go ahead and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. As you're looking to rate yourself on the scale of 10, I'm going to start in a minute going through this. I want you to rate yourself right now. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to go through the 25 stories, and then we're going to talk about what level we are. So go ahead and just jot that down in your notes right now. This is so cool. I love doing this. I love being a part of this. I love it. I love it. I love it. Someone said, Shay, I get it. I'm trying to figure out why you're so infatuated about this, because story selling is all about being transparent. That's what it's all about. It's about being transparent. So as you're writing in your notes right now on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say you are a 5 right now. Now, mostly when I ask them how well they do at story selling, do you think they're a 5, a 6 or below, or a 7 or higher? And you're probably right. Most of the folks, when they're honest with themselves, Vivian, most of the self, they're at 7 or below. 6 or below. Now, I want you to ask yourself, if you raise your baseline just in the area of selling, I want you to be very transparent, just in the area of story selling, how much additional income could you add to your baseline? So you go from a 6 to a 7. What does that mean for you? You go from a 7 to an 8. What does that mean to you? If you're a 2 or a 3 and you've been winging it or shooting from the hip, you go from a 2 to a 5. How much more powerful could you be? How much more persuasive could you be? Yeah, it could be a game changer for you. Here's what I want to tell you, and I just want to share this with you. On average, U.S. adults today spend slightly over 12 hours per day consuming major media. That's 84 hours per week. So what that tells us is that the average person right now is reading something. The only question is, when you're talking to them or you're doing your marketing communications, are they reading a story that makes a point? Now, today in the communication, when I sent it out, I talked about the importance of making sure you do that. And talk about one recent research by Stanford University, and you can go check the email that I sent out. And in there, they had 100 of the best storytellers tell a story around crime. Just the story. They had 1 minute to tell the story. 100 of the storytellers, 1 minute. The audience listened in. Afterwards, they interviewed the audience. Only 5%, I think the number was 5% of the audience remembered a statistic about crime. 60-some% remembered something factual or detailed about a story that was told around crime. What's my point, Shay? We're going to get better at telling stories so it sticks with the client. We're going to get better at telling stories so the client understands exactly what we're doing. We're going to get better at doing this because this is what people are looking for. And I'm going to walk you through a formula a little later, but here's what I want you to put in your notes right now. Now, some of you are going to get all the notes when I'm going to send you my slides and notes, but here's a formula. We're going to collect success stories. Yeah, we'll talk about success stories later. We're going to write out the details. Yeah. They're going to be short. No more than 300 words, or probably less than 3 minutes, by the way. Yes, we're going to rehearse telling the story, and then we're going to write your sales story closing. And I love that because, to me, stories is what really captivates the audience. at the end of the day, one of the things that captivates the audience is, I gotta remember how to turn this off, is stories. And trying to do two things at one time can be a bit challenging, even for me. But don't worry, I'm here with you. So let's talk about the 25 stories that you need right now. And I'm going to help you write your most profitable story. I'm not going to bore you with facts, tell, stories, sell. But before I do that, someone do me a favor. Someone hit the share button. Just hit the share button. And when you hit the share button, type these words: systems beat goals every time. Someone write that down. Someone just hit the share button, pay this message forward, and write the words. Or start a watch party. If you're about to go into details right now. And just write systems beat goals every single time. Just put that down. Systems beat goals every single time. Systems beat goals. I thought I had that slide. Systems beat goals every single time. And we're going to tell stories because some of you don't want to close. So good storytellers are also good sales closers. I'm going to talk about that when I go through the stories. Good storytellers, put that in your notes, are good story closers. Now, for all my speakers out there that are speakers, for all my authors out there, for all my happy entrepreneurs, look right below the video and just write these words: I am a master storyteller. Even if you don't believe that right now, I want you to tell yourself that I am a master storyteller. Someone put down your notes right now. I am a master storyteller. Good storytellers are also good closers. Now, this is important. It's important for you and it's important for me. The reason that that's important is that when you get better at what I'm sharing with you, you're going to attract more people. All right, Shay, break down these 25. And if you can you give me a 3-step formula first, just around telling success stories, Shay? Yeah, I'll do that first. Or should I show them this first? Let me see. Is this ready? It is? Okay. So you want me to go to the guide? Okay. Okay. Let me do the other one first. Okay. Let me tell you. You already know that facts tell, stories sell. If you don't, put that in your notes. Facts tell, stories sell. Put that in your notes. Facts tell, stories sell. Now, let me tell you a great way to tell a success story. I'm going to give you a 3-step formula. They can be as short as 1 minute or as long as 7 minutes. But this formula will help you and as you're collecting success stories from your clients. And so this helped one of our clients 2 weeks ago. The sales team, as you know, we have a sales team. We are the sales team for a lot of clients. And they were making sales calls. And this person sells a $6,997 mastermind. That's the full price after all the discounts and all the bonuses. And as we were making the calls, I wanted to incorporate a story, but it had to be a short story to bring the benefits to life. Because you only tell stories for 2 reasons when we talk about closing. Put this in your notes. 2 reasons. To bring a benefit to life. I think I have that slide. To bring a benefit to life, or, you only tell stories for 2 reasons. 1, to bring a benefit to life, or number 2, to overcome an objection. Put that in your notes. This is very important. It's around story selling, but when you talk about closing the deal, you tell a story for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. 1 is you need to bring one of the benefits that you're offering to the client, or 2, for all my master storytellers like Clayton, what's up, Clayton Young, or Vivian, or Sean, you tell a story to overcome an objection because you're handling the objection in the body of your presentation. So you're not telling to be entertaining. Yeah, you want to connect emotionally. Yeah, stories act as invisible selling. Yeah, stories to spend time. Yes, stories also increase trust and rapport. But at the end of the day, we're telling it for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only: to bring a benefit to life or to overcome objection. So in her current presentation, 2 things was happening, and this might be you. Number 1, when she got to the end of her presentation, before she made an offer, she was not telling what we call a closing story. Don't worry, I'm going to get to the stories you need in a moment. She didn't have a closing story that wrapped it all together. Secondly, when she got to the end of her presentation, $6,997 conversation. And she's not the one doing the conversation, by the way. She has some folks they're enrolling people into this program. She would ask, how do you feel about moving forward? Which is one of the closes I teach, right? You should know exactly what you're going to say when you finish your presentation. You told all the stories. There's nothing else to talk about. It's like, what do you say? Well, how do you feel about joining the mastermind? How do you feel about having me as a speaker at your platform? I used that close about an hour before this conversation today. I was talking to someone. I'll be speaking. I can't wait to be in New Orleans. But I asked that question. I said, well, how do you feel about having me as a guest expert on that platform? Talk about how to build a 7-figure sales team. She said, I feel good about that. And so that's what she was doing. Now, because I'm talking about storytelling, I changed it up a little bit for this person. $6,997 mastermind product. As a result, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. As a result, not just because of me, because, there's some other factors, but how to say it? Some coaches try to take all the credit. Like, they're the one. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we played a part in why she had 7 sales over a weekend. Direct that our folks had talked to set it up for her. And as a result, 7 sales, $6,997 each. You do the math. Now, here's what I changed, and here's what you can change. It might, I don't know if it applies to you or not. I'm just telling the story because this is storytelling. I got to tell some stories, right? And so here's what she did. She, at the end of her presentation, I used this formula. Jot this in your notes. Step number 1, this is where the client was prior to meeting her. It's a success story. Step number 2, the client paid her, took a step with their hard-earned money, and this is what they did. They went through this program, this certification. As a result of having that, this is what their client is enjoying today. Very simple, not braggadocious. Just like now, I'm not bragging. But it's 3 steps. This is where the client was prior to meeting her. This is step number 2. This is what the client did. Step number 3, this is where the client is today. Now, if you're watching right now and you want to share one of your success stories, you can look below the video and you can write those 3 steps down. This is where the client was prior to meeting me. They didn't know how to speak. They didn't have a website. They didn't have a campaign. They were stuck in their life and looking for a new promotion. Whatever it was, they were stuck. They didn't have a photographer to take photos at their wedding. This is what they did. They took a step. They met with me. They took a step. They wrote a check. They took a step. They reviewed the contract. They took a step. They had a meeting just like today, and I shared this. Step number 3, this is where the client is today. They got their photos. Their website is up. Their campaign is running. They're speaking on stages. They're doing their Facebook Lives. They now know how to blank. Now, we did change the close. Now, I get to the 25 when you need. Now, we did change the close. We changed the close to make it, I wanted to make it a little smoother. I wanted something that really had a story that brought them home. Why? Because stories drive home closing points. And the characters in the story will do the selling for you. Now, I'm going to get to the exercise. Don't worry. I'm just right now having a little bit of fun. But stories drive home closing points. The characters, they do the storytelling for you. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible? Isn't that just great? So I said, when we get to the end, instead of saying, how do you feel about moving forward? We're going to ask the question and let them talk to us. The question I move, and you can use the same question. It's not, but it's a powerful question. The question was, how do you feel about going on this journey so that you can blank? If it's me, I might say, how do you feel about going on this journey so you can have your most profitable stories written and you can pass those on to your sales team? How do you feel about going on this journey where you have a sales team that does all of your calls for you, all of your prospecting for you, that's able now to run your appointments, qualify people, and get the check while you're doing something else? So the question was, instead of saying, how do you feel about moving forward? It's because you told a story prior to that. You asked, how do you feel about going on that journey to blank? So from where they are to where they want to go to, how do you feel about going on that journey? And you, this program, being the bridge to get you there. For some of you, just that tweak, just that change is a breakthrough. I'm going to give you the 25 right now. I'm going to go through those now. But I want you to make a commitment that you're going to have a success story as part of your closing system that you use. Now, I'm going to tell you to do that in a minute anyway, but I'm going to tell you. 7 sales times $6,997. Paying full clients except for one had to do financing. It's a good weekend no matter where you live in the world. It's just a good weekend. There's more to come. There's more to follow because it's duplicatable. And once your stories are written, it's duplicatable. Let's go over the stories that you need right now to raise your baseline for those folks that were working on raising their baseline up. Let's kind of go through those now so you at least have those. And let's talk about the importance of them. Now, here are some stories that you need. Now, as I'm doing this, someone can write down the story that they need right below. Some of you who are taking notes, certainly I appreciate you. I'm going to go through these in just a moment. As I go through them, I think I have 25. Yeah, 25. Here to go, 25. If you're thinking to yourself, I just want a copy of that, and then we're going to go to the other chart. Here's what you can do. If you're thinking, I just want a copy, you can go ahead right now and just take your cell phone number out, take your cell phone out, and just, if you want your story reviewed, because I'm going to tell you what story to write, and you want the notes from today, the notes that I have right in front of me, text the word makeover. It's time for you to get a sales makeover, by the way. I should have said sales in front of that. Text the word makeover right now, to this number, like do it right now, 202-270-1662, 202-270-1662. Do it now and include your best contact, first name, your last name, your best contact number, and your phone number and email, and we'll get that to you. We'll schedule time for you. That's my promise to you. That's the big, bold claim promise that I'm making. All right, let's break this thing down for them. Oops, wrong one. Go here. There we go. Okay. Story topics. Number 1, introducing myself to new prospects. Explaining what I do and whom I help and how I've helped them. So, explaining what I do. Now, for some of you, this is a very short story. Some of you get stuck right there. And that's okay. But when someone wants to know what you do, they oftentimes are looking for the backstory. They're looking for the narrative. When you tell a story, you can frame the conversation like this. I'll give you a 2-part sentence that you can use. And if you want to use this 2-part sentence that leads to a story, that's fine. I like to always start off with a question. So you might say, do you know how? Put that in your notes. Do you know how? And then underneath that, write the next sentence. What I do is ... Let me give you this. Let me break this down. I'm trying to do as many as I can. I can't do everything. But do you know how? ... And underneath that, what I do is. So what you would want to do is you would want to reach out and you'd want to speak to folks and talk about a niche that you work with and a very specific problem. So if I was writing it out, should I write it out? I guess I could write it out, couldn't I? Yeah, I could do it. I could do it probably down here if I wanted to. Let's see here. So just for fun, I don't have time to do this much, but just for fun, if I was doing it just for fun, let me get my keyboard. If I was doing just for fun, I could you would write something like this. Do you know how, ... State a niche that you work with, a niche. So I might say, do you know how, I'll do it for you. Do you know how speakers are stressed and concerned? I just put a problem about having enough speaking gigs to make $50,000 per month. So there's a couple components. Do you know how? Here is where you would put. Is this right? I haven't done this in so long. Oh, that's not right. Well, it tells you I don't do Word documents, doesn't it? Sheesh. All right. Do you know how, where, there used to be something on here that you could highlight it. Wasn't there something you could highlight? Highlight colors. Do you know how speakers, so you're going to put, do you know how blank, identify a niche that you work with, not the only niche you work with. Do you know how blank are stressed and concerned about what? What problem exists on the planet that you can solve? Now, underneath that, you could write, what I do is, so what I do is provide the sales team for speakers so they don't have to book their own speaking gig. We are the sales team speakers have been looking for. Now, I understand I'm in the prepositional phrase there, but what I do is, and then you just solve the problem. So what I do is provide the sales team for who? Speakers, so they don't have to book their own speaking gigs. So we're the sales team. We go out and we make the sales for them. We prospect for them. We make the phone calls for them. We run the appointments for them. We do it for a lot of different folks. But so we're the sales team that they've been looking for. So when you're looking at doing number one, introducing yourself and explaining what you do, you would tell a story about a speaker that you worked with. So I would tell a story about one of our speakers that's in Atlanta. And just last week, man, we do phone calls every day for folks. It's not about me. I'm just giving you guys a story so you can follow along. But she had a challenge. She wants to speak at universities and colleges. And she wants to teach relationship skills to faculty members so they can be more relational, work together better. And to students who are going through a transition because they left home. They're down in college. So they're a freshman or a senior. And there's a lot of relationship challenges going on. She didn't have a team to do it for. She'd been doing it herself, sending out gigs and, being successful but not successful. She knew she could do better. She hired us. We met. I proposed that we write the sales script. I proposed that the team make the phone calls. I proposed the team qualifies people to make sure they're talking to decision makers, and then we take the next step. As a result, we called universities for her, and she was able to get 40 different decision makers to consider her to be a speaker. Now, how does that relate to you? What does that mean to you? This is called the bridge, by the way. What does that mean to you? What that means to you is in a 2-minute snapshot, and it's a little longer because we're talking, not only did I tell you that there's a problem on the planet, I told you that how we solved it, and then I shared a story to talk about how I've helped them and who I've helped. So when you break the formula down, I'm not going to do it for each one. When you break the formula down, introducing myself to new prospects or even existing clients, one of the things you always want to do is talk about whom you've helped and how you've helped them. So I want you on the other side, for those that are writing down my story wish list, I want you to write a story, the name of a story. So I might call that out for intents and purpose. I won't get the person's name. I might call that the Karen Louise story. Speaking gigs at universities. So now I'm building my speaker wish list as well. I'm putting my wish list together of the titles that I'll put into a catalog. I'll talk about that later. Now, so number one, explaining what you do. You need a story. Number two, whom you helped and how I've helped them. Those are success stories. I went into a little details earlier. You need that. Number three, where's this thing? Oh, here it is. Number three, the category is stories I tell myself prior to the call. So you need my personal motivation story. That's number three. And then number four, you need a story to relax and take the stress out of the call. Now, what do you tell yourself prior to the call? Some folks prior to their calls get motivated. Some get pumped up. Some say rah, rah. But I have my own story. And the story I like to tell myself is that my job isn't to sell anyone anything. I don't have to persuade anyone to do anything. That my job, and you might write this down, my job as a sales professional is just to state that there's a problem that exists on the planet and here's the solution I have to solve it. That's my personal motivation story. So I don't go into a conversation or a presentation stressed and worried if they buy, if they're not going to buy, how they're feeling, what mood they're in. I don't do that. I try to say, look, I'm going to show up. If it makes sense, I'm going to talk to them about this problem that exists on the planet. Like in this conversation right now, I'm just focused on saying, look, people are having a challenge telling enough stories in their sales system. Whether it's their marketing systems, their selling systems, their webinars, their conference calls, their videos, their one-on-one conversations, their sales conversations, their appointments, whether they're in an appointment, whether they're handling an objection, they're having a challenge. There's a problem. And so I've got a solution that can help them. But many of them don't even know what stories they even need. So in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give you all 25 like that. I'm kind of right now framing this conversation so you understand the value, but it's a big challenge. And so without that, they really can't take the next step. And the next step, once they know the 25, the next step is to kind of go back and say, okay, if I have the steps, Shay, then what buy-in phase is the prospect even in, Shay? How do I stimulate them? How do I define the problem? Like they don't have a template to even understand buyer's profile prior to having a conversation. So I want to give them that. Even if they're storytelling, they don't really have a headline for the story. They really don't have the supporting details. They haven't stepped back to figure out what is the setting, what are the characters, what's the plot. They haven't thought about any of that because they don't know what they don't know. So I said, well, I'll take some time. I'll walk them through that. I'll share with them storyboarding, and I'll tell them how they can use that to increase their sales. And I'll give them the template. It's not mine. Anyway, I'll give it to them. Someone gave it to me. I'm passing it on because I learned it. And so I'm having fun this evening or this morning or this afternoon. If you're out there right now and you're listening and you're getting value, if you're out there right now and this is resonating with you, just look below the video. Look below the video. Don't say anything about Shay Brown, but just write down, I am a master storyteller. I want you to define that right now. I want you to use the I am statement. I am a master storyteller. Not because you're trying to persuade, but because you're trying to make sure you get your points across in the shortest, briefest amount of time. And the fastest way to do that, truthfully, is you've got to be willing to share your stories. So as we go through here now, so you got your motivation, your story to relax, building rapport with the buyer. Now, this is very important. Now, you don't need all 25 of these right away. I don't know where you are in your business cycle, but I do want you to write your most profitable one right down, and I'll tell you that's going to be your closing story. But for some of you, it's a story about you. Why I do what I do. You know, for some folks, that's the most important story that they're going to tell. Why they do what they do. In some cases, when I'm working with a number of folks, they've got to make sure they step back and tell the person about a mistake that they made along the way. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. People don't care what you do until they know why you do it. This story explains why you chose the industry or company or role that you're in. I'll tell you when I made a mistake. One of two things buyers claim will really earn instant credibility is to tell them when your company is not the best solution. The best way they're more likely to believe you is when you tell them that you are the best solution, and telling a story about a time you did that with another client is a quick way to earn that credibility without having to wait for it to happen again. And that can be very, very powerful. For some folks, that's stressful. For Tanya, who's a master storyteller, it's not stressful. I get it. And we talk often about how we grew the company too fast. And I'll talk about the explosion we had in the companies that I've started. and not having the right systems in place. And then having the right system, but not having the right personnel in place. And then having the right personnel in place, but not having the right training in place. So you can see how this becomes a catastrophe, like a domino fall. But how we learn from those mistakes. We learn from burning bridges because we're moving too fast, and how we went back and repaired those bridges, and how we now have processes and systems in place to make life easier, to be able to more effectively communicate with our clients and communicate with our customers and communicate with those folks we care the most about. And because we've learned, when we take this step with new clients, we're in a much better position. Because for some of our clients, it's important to get instant communication. For some of our clients, they want to be able to touch us. So now we use services. For those of you who are in some of our programs, we use Slack. And Slack is one of the top communication platforms. So for a number of folks that are in our sales club or some of our clubs, you're in a Slack channel, you're in a private channel. So you don't have to check your email, you don't have to check your text message, and you don't have to worry about Facebook messaging and all that stuff, or Instagram DMing. You have a place where you have a team leader. You have a place where you have an operations leader. You have a place where you can get in contact with us right away. So because some of our clients like that. They like that communication style. Now, when I tell that story of how we didn't grow, we grew and messed up, then it's very clear and it builds rapport. And lets them know you stand for them. Now, for some of you, the other ones don't. Some of you work for companies, so I'll go to bat for you with my company to try to get you the best deal possible. Because disagreements will happen, and your company isn't always going to be right. So your prospects want to know what happens, and that you've got their best interest, and you're going to fight to make it right for them. Telling them you will isn't convincing. Tell them a story about someone that you had a chance with, and if you're selling cars and you thought they should get a better interest rate, and you went to bat for them, and you got that interest rate, that's a story, and that story will stick. That story will remind them. And so let me go back because I'm going to go through these. I'm at number 8. Okay, yeah. No, am I good on time? Okay, number 8, number 9. Okay. Stories about my company. Now, I love stories about the company. Nobody ever started a company for a boring reason. I did a sales club intake meeting with a client, and when we do the intake meeting and we're making calls on behalf of the client, I often will ask why they started it, how the company got going. And I'll tell them to tell me about what that was like when it got started and what was on their mind, what was on their heart. Again, see, I'm looking for an event. I'm not asking them a question. I'm looking for a question that leads to an event that leads the prospect to give me a story. You always want to try to get a story from the prospect, right? Because you're going to learn more that way. And the person said, Shay, my story is not that. It's kind of boring because, I didn't lose my job. I didn't plan to do this. And the person was a stay-at-home mom, and her husband makes enough that she don't have to work. And she thought it was a boring reason. And the person has a service walking dogs. And so I said, okay, well, no story is boring. So tell me the boring story. I won't think it's boring. And she told me about the love she had for her dog. And I forgot the dog's name. The dog passed away. And as a result of the dog passing away, she missed the dog. Husband didn't, she might be watching right now. I won't mention names. Husband wasn't interested in having another dog. Kids were grown. Husband wasn't interested in having another dog. And so she thought there might be some folks out there that would allow her to walk the dog. And she hated taking her dog to the kennel. And so she got on this mission to do dog walking, which she had never done in her life. And as a result, she started a successful business. Been doing it now for 2 years. And just loves the feeling that she gets when she knows that the owner is doing whatever they're doing and they have peace of mind because their most precious gift on this earth, the dog, is taken care of by someone that cares. And, when I heard that story, I was like, that's a big deal. Like, to her, it wasn't a big deal. But if we would, I wasn't going through all 25. I was telling her that we would, start off helping her with her script and scripting and so forth, and her being in the sales club. And now we're going to make phone calls. You know how that works, to folks that have pets. But I said, when we talk about this is who we are, this is the reason for the call today, and this is what we like to do. In that reason for the call, we need to mention the reason for the call is that this company was founded on the principle that owners would be at peace of mind no matter what they were doing or where they were, because their most precious gift on this earth, the dog or pet, was in good hands and was safe and was being loved that very moment. And, has it made any sales yet? Made some appointments. It's not all just because of that one reason. But just the fact she has a founding story makes her more powerful in every video. Makes her... Anyway, you get the point. I want you to have a founding story. How are you different from your competitors? A story to differentiate you from your competitors is typically includes an example of how your competitors handled a situation or customer's need, in contrast to how your company had handled the same situation. I want to get into the main pitch because some of you are going to get these notes. Some of you already text me in. I get it. Some of you already text in. I think I go here. Oh, here. Some of you are already texted in, and so some of you are going to get the notes and the notes that I'm talking about this evening. I get it. I know it. But I want you to know as we're doing this that this is very key, because story selling is the art of telling an emotional and compelling story to effectively convey a call to action that sells a product or service. Put that in your notes. I want you to have this in your notes. I want this to be second nature to you. Because at the end of the day, you made a decision. You're going to raise your story selling baseline. Now, as you're raising your story selling baseline, you're also making sure that you are being very effective in your storytelling. An effective way in your storytelling is to know exactly what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, and how you're going to say it. So now we're getting to 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to go pretty fast here because I want to make sure you get it. But 12 is very important. The reason your product exists, like a company founding story that I talked about above, except a specific product or service you're selling at that moment. And so I may say something like, look, the reason that we offer Sales Club is that the problem existed is that owners and sales managers were struggling hiring the right salespeople. They didn't want to pay to bring a person on. They didn't want to pay for training to bring their team on. They might have had the funds to get the CRM system. They certainly didn't have the training and time and resource to get someone up to speed to try to sell their service. So what if they had someone that could make their lead calls for them, do their prospecting for them, run appointments, qualify the person, so they only talk to people who are qualified and ready to buy. So this product, Sales Club, it only exists for folks who really want to have someone else do all the selling for them. Then you would tell a story on your side of why your product is stories. You would tell problem stories. A story about someone who encountered exactly the same kind of problem your product or service is designed to solve. These stories are especially helpful if your buyer doesn't even really identify fully with the problem, or you need to magnify it. Customer success stories, we talked about that earlier. Nothing sells like success. Facts tell, stories sell. But I like the two roads story. It's one of my favorite. Because it's a combination of a problem story and a success story. Both tell the story of someone with the exact same problem, but one uses your product and has a positive outcome. The other doesn't. The biggest example I can give of that, it's like a compare and contrast, but we call it a two-road story. And I like that because it allows me to say, you know, for the person that said, I'm going to do it myself, I'm going to do it alone, some were successful. But then I can tell you other stories of folks who had to go back and get a job, and that's not what they wanted to do. But as a result of working with us, this other client is now generating revenue that pays their bills, allows them to put a little bit away in their retirement account, and still take great vacations. So which of the two would you be interested in being? And so now I'm giving them, it's called the alternative choice. It's called the compare and contrast. There's a lot of ways, but from a story selling lens is how I see the world. It's the two-road story. And then there's the value adding stories. Let's go through these last 5. The value adding stories. Now, you have the objection handling stories. Objections will happen, and they can't always be resolved with a simple statement. Often it requires a story of another customer who had the same objection, which turned out to be a problem, but it was resolved quickly. You want to have a negotiating a price story, a story to illustrate why your product is worth the price you charge. The best kind of illustration, why the price is a benefit to the buyer, not a requirement for the buyer. My favorite, this is where we're hanging the hat out for just a moment. My favorite, this is where we're going to hang out the hat, is number 19. Resolving objections before they're brought up. Stories used to resolve the most common objections before they're ever brought up. This disalarms the prospect before the objection. Now, some people get into objection handling. I'm not going to get into that right now because there's a lot of different type of objections. But if you know the person's, I have to think about it, or I don't have the money, then you can handle that in the body of your presentation. You can talk about prospects who wanted to think about it, took some time and did the research. Here's what they found, but they still took action with you. So you would tell that in the body of your presentation. And the way you bring it up, the transition, I'll get on to another call, another broadcast. The transition point is many of our clients like to think about it. Do they want to have a sales team that makes their calls for them? Do they want to hand the reins over to someone? But when they did the research and they checked out on the internet, there is another sales club that exists on the planet. There's not another club that will generate their leads, set their appointments, run their appointments, qualify their appointments, add automation, AI, artificial intelligence to their websites, be the live bot for them. It just doesn't exist. And at the same time, get all the training they need so they can bring their own team up to speed. It doesn't exist. In fact, if you'd ask me, where could I go right now for someone else that has a sales club, I wouldn't know where to send you. Just like I didn't know where to send this person, because it doesn't exist. They didn't take a step with me, and that's fine. Checked in with them 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days later. They were still doing all the sales. No surprise. Their revenue was still where it was. It had not changed at all. Not a good thing or bad thing. It just is what it is. And so I'm telling you that story so that you understand the very importance of number 19, resolving objections before they come up. Number 20, creating a sense of urgency. A story to use when the buyer says, I'll buy, but now is not the right time. This story is about the negative consequences that resulted when a previous prospect wanted to buy and regretted it. Arming your sponsor with a story. Now, I'll take 1 minute to do this because this is very important. Arming your sponsor, because some of you sell products, services that you don't get a chance to get to the decision maker. Some of you do. Some of you talk right to a consumer, But when you do B2B or business to business, sometimes you can't get to the president or chief operating officer, or there's a committee that's looking at bringing in a certain, switching the software over. Some of my clients sell phone services. Some of my clients sell services that are 10, 20 calls or meetings before a proposal is submitted. And so in those cases, you need a sponsor because you won't be in the room presenting. In fact, your proposal is just one of many proposals that they'll be reading. And so when we say arm your sponsor with a story, number 21, the final decision making will happen and you're not in the room. In those cases, your internal sponsor will never be able to remember your entire sales pitch, but they can remember a single, jot this in your notes, compelling, jot this in your notes, story. Arm them with that prior to their meeting. So now you're taking your story and you're passing it on to someone else. I'm going over right now just the 25 best ideas that I know, and we're almost done. And then I'm going to go over, I believe, very quickly. I'm going to go over a template that you can use, the guide, the sample, storyboard, and I'm going to walk you through this. And then some of you, you're going to write your most compelling story. Some of you that are texting in, you're going to be on a special broadcast with me when I do one this week. That will take place probably tomorrow. You'll get the secret passcode. And I'm going to walk some of you right through this. Like I'm going to take you right to where you need to go to. If you want to be part of that and you're listening right now, you're watching anytime and you're like, Shay, I just want to get the notes. I want someone to review my most profitable script. I want to have a meeting with someone just to kind of understand what is my most profitable story that I need to even write based on where I am, based on what I'm doing. Here's what you can do. You can go ahead now and you can send a text. Well, it'll come up in a minute. There we go. You can send a text. And if you want your story reviewed, whatever story it is, your most profitable story reviewed. Where is this? Oh, here. Your most profitable story reviewed. You're going to text. What happened there? There we go. You're going to text the word makeover right now to this number, 202-270-1662. Text the word makeover, time to make over your story, to 202-270-1662. Include your first name, include your last name, include your best contact number and your email. And I'm going to send you the notes and the other notes behind what you're seeing as well. And for some of you, that's very important. And also, I'm looking forward to sharing with you at least one idea that you can use in your business that's going to help you immediately be able to really, at the end of the day, really truthfully be able to move the sale forward. All right, let's get to the last two and let's get to the other stuff. Coaching the breakup. Before a new prospect can buy, often they have to fire their current person they're working with, in some cases, or move from one supplier to another or change hands. This can be emotional. It can be daunting. Stories about how the customer can do that gracefully, how they can transition out of where they are to where you want to go. And this has been key for us. We work well in the kitchen with a lot of other coaches and trainers and consultants and experts. But sometimes they're swapping one for another. And so we share stories with them on how to do that. After the sale, summarizing the call. This is a story to tell other salespeople you work with. It's the story of the successful sale you just closed or the unsuccessful one you had. This is how to capture the wisdom of the sales call for other folks. Some of you have teams out there. And as you're working with your teams, you've got to really make sure they understand. Now, don't worry. I go into other details. I have another spreadsheet that has more details. I don't want to overwhelm everyone this evening. But I do want to make sure that I take some time and kind of walk you through this template that was my mentor shared that is really, oh my gosh, it's really just created a breakthrough. And if you're listening out there right now and you're just like, you know what, Shay, This is my time. You know what, Shay? I'm ready to understand my signature selling style, which is how you sell, based on your own experience, based on your own expertise, based on your own DNA. I'm ready, Shay, to learn buyer's profile. I know there's 7 signature selling styles. I know you've taught that. And Shay, on the other side, there's 10 different buyer profiles. So when I'm talking to someone, it'd be great if I know their buyer's profiles. So first, I know my signature selling style, how I speak, but then I can turn around and know their buyer's profile, which is how they speak back to me. And I want to incorporate neuro-linguistic sales, which is the study of language patterns and how it impacts the sales process. I'm ready for that, Shay. Like I'm ready for that breakthrough. And this is my year. I'm putting the pedal to the metal. I'm playing full out. There is no holding back. Nope. I'm playing all out. Then I want to encourage you to do one thing. For those folks that did text in earlier, many of you did. You text the word makeover to 202-270-1662. I wanted to help you put your sales team together that has the right stories. Or I want to be the sales team for you. That's the bottom line. And in order for me to do that for some of you, it's going to take you doing a little action, like a lot of my clients. So although you might have texted makeover earlier and you'll just get the story reviewed and the notes and there will be a meeting. But if you're like, no, I'm tired of doing all of my sales. I always like to say, if you don't want to sell, the best thing you can do is hire someone who does. And we are the sales team you've been looking for. I want you to text the word sales club. Text the word sales club. That's just a signal. That's a bat signal to me. It's a bat signal to me, for me personally to reach out to you and me personally to have a phone call with you. And during that phone call, to share one idea for you as you hire your own sales team, or you train your own sales team, or you provide a CRM for your own sales team, or you change your sales script for your sales team, or you just hire someone, or to share how our sales team has done it for other folks. The promise is you'll get one idea of the call. The promise is it'll be a good use of your time. The promise is that one call probably put money in your pocket. Just text the word sales club right now. No matter when you're hearing this message, if you listen to podcasts, you can do it. If you're on Amazon TV or Roku, I get it. You're watching, just getting a hold of it now. Text the word sales club to 202-270-1662. Again, 202-270-1662. When you text the word sales club, make sure, if you didn't already, include your first name, include your last name, include your best contact number, and your email. I'm requiring that. Now, once you do that, then I personally will reach out to you, because we're about to go into a very, very important segment right now. About to go into the most important segment, I believe, because we're going to go talk about the guide to better storytelling. And I'm going to walk you step by, I think I hit the wrong button. I'm going to walk you step by step how you can do that. Let me go here. Let me pull that up. Let's pull it up here. This is me. Yep, there you go. There you go. There you go. All right. I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to walk you through that. But I know some of you want a little more. I know some of you want to be able to have the conversation. And the number to text again, you're going to text the word sales club to 202-270-1662. Again, 202-270-1662. Once you text that, then I will do a meeting with you. In fact, let me go and give you all the details. Take a short, less than 2-minute break. I'll give you all the details and I'll be right back. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. And if you're like a number of my clients right now, where you are sick and tired of talking to unqualified people who don't want to do business with you, or you're tired of tracking down people and trying to convince them and persuade them to do business with you, and you're just wasting your time, or you're just totally frustrated, and it's time for you to increase your sales, then we are the sales team that you've been looking for. You see, the number one challenge facing entrepreneurs today is either lost leads. That means they met someone opted on their page, someone signed up on their webinar, someone said they were interested, and no one could follow up with them, no one could track them down, and you had to do it all yourself. Or you spend a lot of time talking to someone, you spend a lot of time sending them information, only to find out they were unqualified. You're like, I'm sick of talking to unqualified people. So if you don't want to sell, or you hate to sell because you want to do something else with your time, something else with your labor, like spend it with those that you love the most, or doing something entirely different, then I want you to pay close attention. I want you to text this number, because we're going to partner with you in two ways. First, we're going to look at doing a complete sales makeover for you. Okay, that's number one. And then number two, we're going to set all the qualified appointments you need without your labor, so you can make sure things get done. And or we're going to have a dedicated sales team to go out and actually make the sale, get the credit card, get the contract, and bring it out. We are the sales team that you've been looking for. So it's just time for you to do a sales makeover. It's time for you to look at your whole sales process and have a structure, a system, a sequence, so you can be scalable and you can really generate those sales. Here's what I want you to do for your sales makeover. Text the word makeover. Do it right now. Open up your phone right now. Text the word makeover, one word, makeover, to 202-999-3515. Let me get that to you again. Text the word makeover so you can look at your business to 202-999-3515, and just follow the instructions. So all you gotta do is follow the instructions, and let's make over your business. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we're gonna make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and welcome back to this very special episode on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I'm really excited because we get an opportunity to share with you step by step exactly what you need to do in order to really use storytelling to grow your business. And we're getting down to probably one of the most important pieces that I'm going to go over in the time that I have left. And I will do a part two. So that's my promise for some of you out there. I will do a part two. I want to make sure you're invited. So for those that text in, we'll make sure you get invited to part two. Is going to be amazing. All right. So with that being said, let me go back over here if we can. And let's go ahead and let's break this down for you. There are a couple things I want you to do. First, on a spreadsheet, I want you to think about what buying phase you're writing a story for. Is it someone that's not in the market yet? They're looking around. Is it someone that has kind of stimulated? They've opted in. An event occurred. Do you need to clearly define the problem? Are there options available? And finally, who actually approves it? Now, that's just the template. Let's look at the guide that I want to have. Now, on the guide, there's 5 categories. This is very important. Number 1 is the outcome, the headline. Summarize the desired outcome using powerful language and messaging. So, for example, I might have an outcome, might be have the president walk away believing that this security service is the best service for us. So that's the outcome. Second, the outcome, the journey. Describe the future state of the prospect or customer or experience. What will be the glorious future look like? So I might say I'm gonna have stories around how once you really incorporate having a sales team, how that frees you up to do so many other things that you're not able to get to now. You don't have to spend all your time on the phone talking to people who aren't qualified. And a lot of folks, that's not what they want to do. They don't want to spend all day talking to people who aren't qualified. They want to talk to people who are qualified. Okay, now, number 3, the audience. What are the fears and personal wins for each person involved? Does your story diffuse fears and appeal? Now, on my side, if it's me, and some of you, when I talk to you, we'll look at that. It might be the fear of making a bad decision, the fear of wasting their money, the fear of wasting time, the fear of wasting resources. You're going to tell stories to other folks who may have had that exact fear using one of the 25 different type of stories you mentioned. Now, 25 for some of you is like overwhelming. So we'll only pick 2. When I work with some clients, we only pick 1. I always say it's your most profitable story that you must tell over and over and over again. Number 4, supporting data, the details. Talk about their company, what their company has. Number 5, role engagement. Think of a way the audience can participate personally in the story, putting them in the role. Now, this is very important because the client, not you, the prospect, not you, they are the hero of the story. Oftentimes people make the mistake of making themselves the hero. Well, I've been able to do this, and I've been able to do this, and look at me. But really, you want to say, hey, look, this character was just like you. Jot this down in your notes, please. Put it in your notes. People like people that are just like them. People like people that are just like them. And so, in that sense, in that same vein, people that are just like them, they want someone that understands them, someone that gets it, someone that's just like them. So your character in the story, when we talk about that section here, the character in the story, the audience, they're now involved because you can say, hey, look, when this person didn't have a team, when this person had to do all the selling themselves and they really had a big heart, how do you think they were feeling? Like what was holding them back? And they'll say, they have enough time. They can't do it all. They just feel overwhelmed. And they don't want to do that anyway. You're like, yeah, that's it. You get it. Yeah. You rocking and rolling. So important. And that's what makes it important for you. That's what makes this even more important for you. Because now you're relating. Now you're building trust. Now you're building rapport. Now you're right there with them. You're in it. You're in it all the way. Now we got the background. This is the setup. This is the narrative. Set the stage for the story with all the background scenery. What's at stake? The mood, the challenge, the risk, the timing. Now, all this is not important for all of you. It just isn't. But all you need is one idea. How many ideas do you really need to change your life? Like seriously, like how many ideas you need to change your life? One good idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas you know right now. If you got just one good idea, it's really all you need. And in storytelling, this is the one tool inside your box that you're going to sharpen. You're going to make better. You're going to make it clear. Look, I want you to make a commitment. If nothing else, you and I over the next 30 days, I'll be teaching this as part of the sales club every Thursday. I'm going into way more detail than I can right now. I want you to make a commitment. You're going to improve your storytelling, your baseline. You're going to raise that baseline up. You're going to improve it. You're going to get better. You're going to be shorter. You're going to be briefer. You're going to be able to pass these stories on to your team. You're going to expand your message through others in your videos and your Facebook Lives and your webinars and your conference calls, in your marketing messages. You will drive the conversation. The conversation will never drive you. Someone write that down in your notes. Put that in your notes. I drive the conversation. The conversation doesn't drive me. I'm giving you the best I got right now. I'm with you. I'm feeling you. I'm there. I'm all in. The next one is the icebreaker. When appropriate, engage with laughter. No jokes. Use anecdotes and rhetorical questions. Topic for another time. But I like using the storyboard below because the storyboard below has helped me many times. I always describe the setting for the story, and I describe the characters relevant, and then describe the significant events of your story in sequential order. Spend time on the high points of your story. Explain how your story results in a satisfactory conclusion. Now, some folks think they're just writing a story like they do when they're just writing a paper for a thesis, or they're just talking, because some people are natural storytellers. If that's you, that's fine. It's fine. But if you are a natural storyteller, one thing I know about all superstars, and you may agree with this, but most that I work with, the one common belief that all superstars have, do you know what that one common belief is? That one common belief is they can always get better. they can always get better. And that's you right now. That's you. You could always get better. So if you're a natural storyteller, you're going to take it to another level because now you're going to use systems. And I said it earlier. I'll say it again. And it's so important. So important. Systems beat goals every single time. Systems beat goals every single time. Systems beat goals every single time. So systems plus a strategy plus sales equals successful CEO, the 4S formula. And so now that you have a strategy, now that you have a system, now you're going to systematically be better because now you know what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, and why you're going to say it before it even happens. Isn't that great? Doesn't that feel good? Don't you like, yeah, that's cool, Shay? Yeah. That's you. So if you're out there right now, I'll go over the sample. Maybe I'll go over that next time. This is just a sample we put together, but there's a storyboard for you to fill out. When you get the notes, this is a document that you can use yourself. So it's not, you don't have to rely on me. It's worked for me. I know it's going to work for you. How do you get that document? For those folks that are just tuning in, the way to get the document and the notes and a one-on-one meeting with me is you want your story reviewed and the notes. Text the word makeover right now. We're coming down the home stretch. I'll have a part 2. Text the word makeover right now. Do it now. Do it when now. Do it when now. Text the word makeover to 202-270-1662. Again, 202-270-1662. Again, 202-270-1662. Include your first name. If you haven't done it, do it now. Include your last name. Include your best contact number and email, and we'll be right there for you. With that being said, I want you to know that for everyone listening right now, I want you to know that you are amazing. I want you to know that you're incredible. I want you to know as you're listening right now that you have so much greatness inside you. And I know that the best is yet to come because I know the secret weapon that will transform your sales is story selling. And I want you to make a decision. I want you to conclude right now that you're going to add this secret weapon right now. And you're going to sharpen it. You're going to be focused. You're going to take it up another level. You're going to raise your standards right now in the area of story selling. You don't have to do it alone. No. You're not by yourself. I'll be right there with you. I want to review where you are first. I want to share with you some techniques customized for your industry and customized for where you are. So with that being said, I want you to know that you're a winner. I want you to know that you have greatness inside you. I want you to know that today is your January 1st. Yeah, today is your January 1st. Yes, today is your January 1st. And for you, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. With that being said, I want you to know I believe in you. And I want you to make it a great day. And my promise to you is we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Storytelling, story selling, story selling. Take it away. As we close out, look right below the video. Everybody who's watching, look right below the video. And I want you to write these words. Today is my January 1st. I'm going to get my story done. Today is my January 1st. I'm going to tell my most profitable story. Today is my January 1st. I'm back on track again. I will not delay. Looking forward to sending this to all of you who are out there right now. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's fun. Yes, you guys are all amazing as you're listening right now. Now, if you want to know how to contact me, again, you can just text the number 202-270-1662. Again, 202-270-1662. And we'll be right there to make sure we answer everything for you. With that being said, make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and I wish you success. Bye-bye for now.
promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless.